All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about estate planning today, but I want you to forget everything you think you know about it. We're going to look at this whole thing not as some legal chore, but as, well, one of the greatest gifts you can ever give to your family. And let's start with a really simple, powerful fact. If you own a home, you have an estate. That's it. It's not just for the super wealthy. The moment you became a homeowner, this conversation became about you. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about why we all kick this can down the road. Then, what happens when there's no plan at all? After that, we'll flip the script and talk about it as a gift. We'll get into the nuts and bolts of how a trust works, and finally, we'll tie it all back to your home. Okay, first up, the someday question. You know that mental list of things you're going to get to someday? Well, for most people, estate planning is right at the top, and there's a really good reason for that. It's because, let's be honest, it just feels so darn confusing. It seems like this maze of legal terms and big decisions, and that feeling of being totally overwhelmed makes it really easy to just put it off. And this is exactly what that confusion sounds like, right? Your brain just starts spinning with questions. Will or a trust? What's the difference? What in the world is probate? Isn't this just for rich people? And maybe the biggest one of all, what's going to happen to my house? So what happens when those questions just hang in the air? This next part is all about the real-world consequences for your family when there's no plan in place. Okay, let's demystify that word we just heard, probate. All it means is that the court system gets involved to sort everything out after you're gone. And the word to really focus on there is court. Because when the court gets involved, this is what happens. Your family is left in limbo, facing total uncertainty. The process can get bogged down in delays. We're talking months, sometimes years. It rocks up legal costs that chip away at your home's value, and it puts a massive amount of emotional stress on your family when they're already going through the worst time. But that's enough of the scary stuff. Let's totally flip the script. This next part is about a much better way to think about this whole process. I want you to just let this sink in for a second. A trust is a gift to the people we leave behind. That one sentence, it changes everything, doesn't it? Because when you see it that way, you realize this isn't really about a stack of legal documents. That's just the tool you use. What it's really about is providing clarity. It's about giving your loved ones a clearer path forward, free from confusion and fighting. That's the gift. So how do we make this gift a reality? Let's talk specifics. We're talking about something called a living trust. Think of it like a protective box you create. You put your assets, like your house, inside the box. You control the box for your whole life, and then when you pass, the box goes straight to your family. No court, no mess. And creating one is pretty much a two-step deal. First, you get the trust agreement drafted. But, and listen up, because this is the part everyone misses, you then have to fund the trust. That means you actually have to retitle your home and other assets into the trust's name. If you skip that second step, the whole thing doesn't work. But when you do it right, look at what you get. Your family gets to completely avoid that probate court mess. Your home transfers seamlessly. You can even appoint someone you trust to step in and manage things if you ever can't. It's about total peace of mind. Okay, let's bring this all back home, literally. Let's talk about your real estate and the legacy you want to leave. You know, these kinds of conversations are a natural part of being a homeowner. Protecting your investment isn't just about getting a good price when you buy or sell. It's about protecting it for the future. And since this is such a specific area, you really want a specialist. That's why it's so important to connect with real experts, people like Thea Enios. She's an estate planning educator with an amazing organization called AFPI Northwest, and this is all they do. The whole mission of AFPI Northwest is to cut through that confusion we talked about at the beginning. They help families figure out exactly what they need and put the right protections in place without all the stress and overwhelm. And this quote just nails it. Protecting your home isn't a one-time thing. It's about being smart when you buy and sell, for sure, but it's just as much about planning wisely for what comes next. So we'll leave you with this one simple question. Forget the legal jargon for a minute. Just ask yourself, what gift of clarity, peace, and protection do you want to leave for the people you love most?